You are crawling under your own porch right now. You push on a beam. Your finger goes straight through it. The wood crumbles like wet paper. And the worst part is, nothing looks wrong from the outside. Not one thing. 600,000 American homes this year, $5 billion in damage, and not a single one of those homeowners had to pay it. There is a powder that costs less than $1 per treatment. It has been eliminating termites permanently since the 1940s. The Amish have used it for generations. And the reason you have never heard of it, despite your contractor knowing exactly what it is, will make you furious before this video is over. I am going to show you what this powder is, exactly how it works down to the biology of the insect itself, and how to apply it this weekend to a house you already own. And I will tell you about a 1,998 document from a professional pest control journal that proved all of this was known and available to every exterminator in America and still got buried. Stick with me for one specific thing, because at the end of this video, I am going to share a technique so simple, so cheap, and so effective that I almost did not believe it when I first read about it. A single page from an Australian building code changed the way I think about the entire pest control industry in this country. The first time I walked through a barn near Millersburg, Ohio, an Amish-built structure from around 1,850, I spent 10 minutes knocking on walls. Every beam sounded solid, every post was tight. The man showing me around smiled and said they had never treated the wood, not once. Not with anything from a spray truck. I had been paying Termites for 11 years. Here's the number that stopped me cold when I first found it. The average American homeowner who discovers a termite problem spends $3,000 on repairs. That is the average. That is not a bad case. That is just a termite problem, discovered, repaired, $3,000 minimum. Now add this. Your homeowner's insurance covers exactly zero of it, not a single dollar. Termite damage is explicitly excluded from standard policies because, according to the insurance industry, it is considered a maintenance issue, not a disaster, not an emergency, a maintenance failure. Meaning they decided it was your fault for not preventing it, and then they sold you a policy for 10 years without telling you the one thing you needed to do to actually prevent it. The pest control industry in the United States generated $12,654 million in 2024. Termites alone account for almost half of that $5.5 billion just for termites in a single year. These are not small numbers. These are the revenues of a major American industry. And that industry is built on one specific business model that I want you to understand before we go any further. Because once you see it, you cannot unsee it. The model is this. A soil termiticide treatment, the standard approach used by every major pest control company, does not last forever. It lasts 5 to 10 years. Then it degrades, then you pay again. The companies know this. They sell it as a feature. They call it a warranty renewal. You pay $400 to $600 a year to maintain the barrier, and if you stop paying, the warranty is void, and if the termites return, you are on your own. It is a subscription, not a solution. A subscription to a chemical that was designed to require renewal. For 40 years, from roughly the late 1940s through 1988, that chemical was chlordane. It was applied in the soil around and under millions of American homes. It was toxic. It was carcinogenic. The EPA banned it in 1988 after 4 decades of contaminating the soil beneath the foundations of houses where families were living and sleeping. After chlordane came the organophosphates, also toxic, also eventually restricted. After those came the current generation, and in April of 2025, the EPA approved yet another new compound, a chemical called noviflumaron, as a termiticide active ingredient. The cycle continues. New chemical, new patent, new 5 to 10 year expiration clock, new subscription. I am going to tell you about the thing that breaks that cycle permanently. And it costs $4 at a grocery store. Here is what the Amish in Lancaster County and Holmes County actually use and have used for as long as anyone in those communities can remember. Borax, sodium borate, the same white powder you may have seen in the laundry aisle your entire life. 20 Mule Team Borax has been sitting on American supermarket shelves since the 1890s. It costs $4 to $8 for a box, and it kills termites in a way that nothing the pest control industry sells can replicate, because it kills them in a way they cannot evolve around. Here is the biology. Most people think termites eat wood. They do not actually digest wood on their own. Termites carry a population of microscopic organisms, protozoa, inside their digestive system. Those protozoa produce an enzyme called cellulase. Without cellulase, a termite can chew wood all day and get zero nutrition from it. The wood passes through the insect completely undigested. The termite starves. Borax destroys those protozoa completely. When a termite ingests borax, even at extremely low concentrations, its intestinal protozoa are eliminated. The termite continues eating. It feels nothing wrong. It keeps working. But it is no longer extracting any energy from the wood. It is starving from the inside, and it dies within 10 to 21 days. That mechanism matters for a specific reason. You cannot develop resistance to starvation. Chemical pesticides work by interfering with a neurological or biochemical pathway, and insects can and do develop genetic resistance to those pathways over time. We have seen this happen with every major class of termiticide in American history, but borax does not attack a pathway. It eliminates a symbiotic organism the insect cannot survive without. The termite cannot evolve a new gut microbiome in response. The mechanism is physical, not chemical. Every termite that encounters borax at the right concentration dies. No exceptions. No resistance. There is another reason the concentration matters, and this detail is the one that separates people who use borax correctly from people who try it and think it did not work. If the concentration of borax in your solution is too high, the termite dies immediately upon contact. That sounds like a good thing. It is not. You want the worker termites to carry the borax back to the colony before they die. A termite that dies on contact is a dead termite. A termite that carries a low concentration borax solution back through the mud tubes and shares it with thousands of colony members before dying, that termite is a vector. That is the difference between killing one insect and collapsing a colony. The correct concentration is below 2%. 1 level teaspoon of borax dissolved in 8 ounces of hot water gives you approximately the right ratio. Mix it warm so the borax dissolves completely. That solution can be applied with a spray bottle or a paintbrush to any exposed wood surface, joists, sills, framing, lumber, anything accessible. The borax penetrates the wood fibers. It does not degrade, it does not evaporate, it does not lose effectiveness over time as long as the wood stays reasonably dry. 1 application to new wood before construction is permanent protection. 1 application to existing wood is permanent protection. Now, if you already own a house and you are thinking this only applies to people building from scratch, stay with me, because this next part is specifically for you. The borax treatment works on existing homes. It works on homes built in 1960. It works on homes built in 1980. It works right now, this weekend, with materials you can buy before lunch. If you have a basement with exposed joists and beams, that is your starting point. Mix your solution, 1 teaspoon per 8 ounces of warm water and paint, or spray every exposed wood surface you can reach, the underside of the floor above you, the sill plates where the framing sits on the foundation, any wood that comes within a few feet of concrete or soil. Let it dry completely before you do anything else. If the wood is already painted or sealed, you have 2 options. First, you can spray the solution in any cracks, gaps, or joints where wood meets wood. Borax wicks into these spaces and distributes through capillary action. Second, you can drill small holes into the sealed wood and inject the solution with a plastic syringe, the kind sold at farm stores and hardware stores for $1 or $2. Inject, plug the hole with a small wooden dowel, and you have treated wood that was previously inaccessible. If you already have termites, if you have found the signs, here is how to use this as an active treatment. The signs you are looking for: Mud tubes on your foundation walls or along joists. These are pencil-width tunnels made of soil and termite secretions. They are the highway the colony uses to move from the ground to the wood. If you see them, you have subterranean termites, which account for 80% of all termite damage in America. Do not destroy the tubes. Inject your borax solution directly into them. The foraging workers will carry it back. Within 10 to 21 days, the population in the affected area should be eliminated or in significant decline. Here is what to check for before you do any of this. Tap on the wood. Solid wood makes a dense knock. Hollow wood, wood that has been tunneled from the inside, makes a dull thud, almost like tapping on cardboard. If you find hollow-sounding beams, tap along the entire length before you decide whether the damage is structural or surface level. Also, check for frass, the technical term for termite droppings, which look like small elongated pellets or fine sawdust accumulating near small holes or gaps. And check near windows and doors in the spring for small discarded wings. Swarmers shed their wings after a reproductive flight. And finding those wings inside means a colony is either established or attempting to establish. Now, I want to tell you about the Amish system in its entirety, because borax is only the first layer. The reason those barns in Holmes County have stood since 1850 without a termite problem is not one thing, it is a system of three things that work together. The first is the borax treatment on all structural wood applied during construction. The second is a surface coating of linseed oil mixed with pine tar. These are both traditional materials that Amish builders have used for centuries. Pine tar is a natural antiseptic derived from the slow burning of pine wood. Termites breathe through their exoskeleton. When they contact pine tar, it coats the spiracles, the small openings through which insects respire, and suffocates them. Combined with linseed oil in a 50-50 mixture and applied to structural wood, this creates a hydrophobic barrier that repels moisture and creates a surface hostile to insect penetration. Researchers at a university in Pakistan studying wood preservation found that wood treated with linseed oil showed the highest resistance to termite attack compared to other traditional coatings. The Amish have known this for 200 years without reading the study. The third line of defense is wood selection. When Amish builders need a post that goes into the ground, a fence post, a barn corner, a load-bearing member in contact with soil, they use black locust, Robinia pseudo-acacia. This tree is native to the Appalachian region and produces heartwood so dense in natural oils and tannins that it is genuinely toxic to termites and fungal decay. Black locust fence posts installed directly in the earth last 25 to 40 years without any treatment whatsoever. The rest of the lumber industry figured this out and now sells pressure-treated pine saturated with copper compounds, a synthetic imitation of what black locust does naturally. The difference is that black locust does it permanently and the pressure treatment leaches out over time. The system works together because it addresses three separate vulnerabilities. The borax deals with any termite that manages to reach the wood and begins to eat. The pine tar and linseed oil create a surface barrier that makes the wood unattractive and difficult to penetrate in the first place. The locust selection eliminates contact with soil vulnerability entirely for load-bearing posts. A building constructed with all three layers has essentially no termite vulnerability for the life of the structure. You can apply any or all of these layers to a house you already own. The borax can go on any exposed wood today. Linseed oil and pine tar, both available at farm and ranch supply stores or online, can be brushed onto exposed sill plates, foundation mud sills, and any wood near the ground. If you are replacing fence posts or deck posts, black locust is available from specialty lumber suppliers and small sawmills throughout the eastern United States. Now, I want to tell you something that I think every homeowner watching this deserves to know. This is the information I found in a pest control trade journal from 1998. Not a fringe website, not a conspiracy blog, a professional industry publication called the IPM Practitioner Integrated Pest Management Practitioner, published in March of that year. The article stated it plainly. Boric acid and its salts, the borates, have been used for wood protection in Australia and other countries since the 1940s. And then it said this: in Australia, where termites seem to be found everywhere, this treatment is required by building codes. Australia, one of the most termite-dense environments on Earth. For 80 years, that country has been treating structural wood with borates as a matter of standard practice and legal requirement. 80 years! While the United States pest control industry cycled through chlordane, organophosphates, and a succession of patented termiticides, all requiring annual renewal, all eventually restricted or banned for toxicity, Australia made the cheap, permanent, non-toxic solution the law. In America, in 2024, $12 billion in pest control revenue, $5.5 billion of that just for termites, a treatment that has been documented as effective since 1934. That is not a typo. The first studies showing borax kills termites are from 1934. Researchers named Randall and Duty, 80% kill rate in direct contact. That treatment remains a footnote in the industry. You understand the math now. A homeowner who treats their structural wood with borax spends $8 once. A homeowner who signs up for an annual termiticide warranty renewal spends $400 to $600 every year indefinitely. The $8 customer is not a revenue stream. The $400 customer is... The industry chose its customer, and here's the thing that I want to leave you with. The detail I almost did not include because it sounds almost too simple. In 2024, researchers confirmed something that Amish builders appear to have understood instinctively for a long time. Termites cannot overcome the boron mechanism. In controlled studies, subterranean eastern termites exposed to a 0.0625% boric acid diet were entirely eliminated within 2 weeks. Formosan termites, the most aggressive and destructive species in the United States, the ones responsible for the greatest structural damage, were eliminated within 3 weeks. 0 survivors, not reduced populations, not suppressed colonies. Elimination. Formosan termites are the same species that invaded Florida and created a hybrid strain when they crossbred with Asian termites sometime around 2015. This hybrid is harder, more prolific, and more resistant to conventional chemical treatments than either parent species. The pest control industry has been scrambling to address it with new compounds, new patents, new products that require, you guessed it, professional application and annual renewal. Borax works against the hybrid because borax does not care what the exoskeleton looks like or what chemical resistance the insect has developed. It eliminates the gut microbiome. The hybrid cannot digest cellulose any more than the original species can without its protozoa. $8, 1 teaspoon per 8 ounces of water, applied this weekend. The knowledge existed. It has existed since 1934 inches American academic literature and since the 1940s in Australian law. It was documented in professional pest control journals in 1998. It is practiced today in every Amish community that has maintained traditional building methods. And none of those Amish barns, not the ones built in 1850, not the ones built in 1910, not the ones built last year, have a termite problem. You recovered something today that belongs to you. It always did. It was just never in the interest of a $12 billion industry to hand it to you. If you are the kind of person who believes that real practical knowledge has been quietly set aside to protect someone else's recurring revenue, you already know what to do with this. I want to ask you one thing, and I need you to answer it in the comments below because this audience has information I do not have, and I want to hear it. Which state do you live in? Drop it in the comments right now. Because the termite risk map in this country is not evenly distributed, and in my next video I am going to go region by region and show you which areas have the highest pressure, which species are dominant where you live, and what specific modifications to the borax protocol work best for each climate. Your state in the comments. That is all I need. If what you heard today changed the way you think about the 11 years I spent writing checks to a pest control company for something that cost $4 to solve permanently, hit the like button. It matters more than you know. And if you are not subscribed yet, this channel is not about saving money on home repair, though it does that. It is about recovering knowledge that was removed from the conversation because it made the wrong people less profitable. Every video here is something I learned too late and want you to know now. subscribe so you do not miss what is coming, because the next one, I promise you, is going to make this video look like a warm-up.